everybody. Welcome to our Grow with GoGo class. So as you can see, as usual, our class is being recorded. Those recordings are available a couple of weeks later, and you can always access our YouTube channel online, and we'll send you a link for that in a bit. But with that, let's get going. So welcome to our chair yoga class. Before we move, just a reminder of what else GoGo provides and offers. So in addition to these classes, you can access rides, meals, groceries, medication delivery, and home services, all by calling one number, and that number is 855-464-6872. Also, we have a referral code. So at the bottom of your GoGo receipts, you have a code. And if you give your code to a friend, once they take their first service with GoGo, you both get $10 in credit. So if you know someone who would benefit from GoGo, that's a great way to share the love. We also have a Facebook group. So if you want to continue any of these conversations online, you can find us on Facebook, and we'll share a link in the chat. If we haven't met, welcome. I'm Adra. I teach the functional fitness class and the yoga class here at GoGo. Today is yoga. We alternate between yoga and functional fitness. Our yoga class is mostly seated. Our functional fitness class is mostly standing. You can always modify however you need. So just a reminder that this is your time and your practice. So if you ever want to take a break, need to take a break, need to do something differently, want to add something, you're welcome to do that. So you are in charge of your body, so make it work for you. What do we need? You just need a chair. I like to have a chair that has no armrests, just because it's a little bit easier to move around. But if all you have is a chair with armrests, that's fine. I prefer a chair that's not rolling around for safety, but if all you have is an office chair, that's the only way you can be in front of your computer, that's fine. So just listen to your body, make sure you're safe, make sure you're in a safe position. Does anybody, before we get moving, remember the move of the week? So every week I give you a move that you have to remember for 2 weeks because of the functional fitness in between. And if you're waving at me, I can't always see you. Oh, I see Bertha though.
Side bend.
Yes, excellent. Yes, side bending. Did you do any side bending?
Yes.
Good, good. I just like to give a move of the weeks for you to sort of think about doing some of those motions. So I'm glad, Bertha, you got some side bending. Hopefully some other people got some side bending too. And I'm sorry if I missed you if you were waving at me. I can only see about 4 people at once when I'm sharing my screen. So excellent. Well done, Bertha. And with that, let's get going. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So I should be nice and big for you. I'm spotlighted, but for whatever reason you want something different or I'm not spotlighted, if you go to the top right-hand corner of your computer, there's a view, there's a button that says view, and you can pick speaker view, so that would be me, or gallery view if you want to watch other people move with you. So you have those options. All right, let's find that seat. Let's rock a little side to side to settle into the seat. And then find some stillness. So even weight on your sits bones, feet firmly planted on the ground. Spine is long, but the shoulders are relaxed. They're not pulled down, but they're relaxed. And then feel free to close the eyes or soften your gaze towards the earth. We'll just take a minute or two to settle in, check in. So first, take a few moments to deepen your breath, finding slightly longer inhales and longer exhales. Maybe notice where you feel the breath in the body. Sometimes you can feel the air exiting and entering the nostrils. Sometimes you can feel the air moving in the chest and the rib cage. Sometimes you feel the air in your abdomen. Or maybe somewhere else. So just noticing, where do you feel the breath? Feel free to slow your breath down a tiny bit. And then take a moment to check in with how you're doing mentally. What kind of thoughts are present today? Thoughts of the past, of the future, commentary on the present. Just notice what shows up. And then also noticing how you're doing emotionally. Are there any feelings present, any emotions? There's no need to change them. We're just acknowledging what's present. And finally, checking in with your physical body. How do you feel physically? Any aches, any areas that keep calling for your attention? Any areas that feel really relaxed? Or blind spots, areas where you can't feel or sense? Just notice what's present, what do you feel physically? And then let's take a deep inhale through the nose, fill your lungs. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. 2 more times, deep inhale. And let it out. 1 more time, inhale. And let it go. Go ahead and blink open your eyes if your eyes are closed. And we're going to take our left hand and give our right arm a little rub, a little stroke. So I'm mirroring you. So we're just going to start to give that right arm a little bit more sensation, a little bit more attention. So we'll start with just a little bit of brushing. We're only doing this for a moment. You can also do a little squeezing. So you can squeeze right up at the shoulder and squeeze down the arm. Almost like you're giving yourself a little massage. You can go up and down. You can give it little taps, tapping out the arm, front, sides, back, all the way to the fingertips. Spend another 15 or so seconds just giving attention, tactile attention to that right arm. So brushing, tapping, massaging. All right, and then with that, give it another 2 or 3 strokes, and then reach your arms forward and see if the arm that you just worked on that you just gave love to for about a minute is longer now than the other arm. So sometimes when we just give it attention, it can create a little bit more space, a little bit more length. So mine is a little bit longer, maybe a centimeter longer now. And release, shake it off, and we'll try the other side. And for you, maybe it didn't get longer, that's fine. We're just noticing what are the effects of what we do to our body. So giving the other arm a nice brush. Try and get all parts of the arm, all the way to the fingers. You can also give it squeezes. Maybe you start up by the neck and shoulder and move downward, giving it a massage. You can also give it some taps. We're just providing lots of sensory input to the arm. And different types of sensory input. So the squeeze, the brush, and the taps, 3 different kinds of ways that we can give that arm tactile sensation. And you can go between all of them, maybe picking one you really like or going back and forth. Maybe there's an area that needs a little extra time, that's fine too. Maybe for a lot of us, that's by the neck and shoulder. Spend another 15 seconds here, so just a few more brushes, taps, and squeezes. And then we'll give it a last brush or squeeze or tap, and then reach those arms forward. Maybe they've evened out, or maybe now the other arm, the left arm, is a little ahead of the right. Just interesting to see. And we'll release, shake it off. Let's move into some head motion. So keeping the back of the neck relatively long, let's rotate the head. Just finding a little motion here in the neck. Maybe your arms are feeling kind of alive and awake right now. And then nodding the head, yes. And bringing your ear towards your shoulders, side stretch of the neck. And other ear to shoulder. And head back to center. Let's do a few shoulder motions. So we're going to inhale, lift the shoulders up towards the ears. Your arms can dangle or rest on your lap. And then exhale, let those shoulders drop and then get heavy, like you're squeezing those shoulder blades down the back and slightly together. So inhale, they lift up towards the ears, like your shoulders are your earrings. And then exhale, let those shoulders drop past neutral. So now you're pushing them downward. So up and down, of course, only moving in ranges that feel safe to your body. So you can feel what it feels like when you're really pulling those shoulders nice and high, and what it feels like when you're really dropping those shoulders really low and almost pressing them down. So neither of those positions, the extremes, are where we want our shoulders to sit naturally. So even though sometimes we say let your shoulders drop, we don't actually necessarily want them to sit really low all the time. All right, you want to be able to move through those ranges of lifting those shoulders up and dropping them down. But now we're going to find a really nice spot for our shoulders. So finding a spot kind of in between. So you're not all the way down. So maybe for a moment here, push your shoulders all the way down. That's not where we want our shoulders to sit because that constricts a lot of the nerves and the blood vessels that exit underneath your collarbone and around your neck. So that can put a lot of tension on your neck and shoulders. So you don't want them totally pushed down. You want to allow them to also not be all the way up towards the ears. They're almost in between the two, erring on the side of the lower part. So they're not all the way down, but they're maybe an inch higher than all the way down. Imagining that your shoulder blades, these bones that are on our back here, our shoulder blades, are just floating on the rib cage. They're buoyant, they're floating. So they're not up, they're not pressed down, but they're floating. They're just floating. So seeing if you can find this sense a floating of the shoulder blades. And it's sometimes something that needs to be practiced or played with, but also every once in a while you can check, am I dropping and really pulling my shoulders down? Or are my shoulders just floating on my rib cage? Can they be soft? And with that idea, keeping those shoulders soft, let's bend the elbows, hands come in front of us like we're holding a platter. Continue to sit nice and tall. Those shoulder blades are still nice and floating, but they're gonna move a little bit as we inhale. Open up the hands out to the side. So now we're getting a little rotation. Thumbs are reaching towards the wall behind us. And then hands come back together as you exhale. We inhale, externally rotate. Thumbs reach back, elbows stay close to the body. So you might feel a little squeeze here at the back, and that's normal. And exhale, pinkies come together. Inhale as you open. So keep going here at your own pace. So now, with our floating shoulders, we're playing with some external and internal rotation. So it's the arm bone, but those shoulder blades also move to help increase the range of motion that we can make. So as your arms go back or your thumbs go back, you'll feel those shoulder blades squeeze a little closer together. That's normal. And as your pinkies come forward towards each other, you'll feel your shoulder blades spread apart a little bit. That's normal too. The other piece that's moving is that your upper arm bone, our humerus bone, is rotating in the shoulder socket. Next time your arms are out to the side, we'll go ahead and pause. Can you find a little bit more length here in your spine? And then reach those arms out to the side. Let's let those palms face forward. Spread those fingers out nice and wide. Let's inhale, lift the chest and reach the arms back. So we're creating a back bend. I'll just turn for a moment so you can see. So back bending, lifting the chest. And then exhale, backs the hands touch, rounding the back, tucking your tail and dropping your chin. So we inhale, open up the arms, palms are open, fingers spread, fingers reach back, chest lifts. Exhale, round the back, bring the backs of the hands to touch, tucking the tail. Keep going, a couple more times here. So finding some motion here in the spine, in the arms, in the fingers. So we're going all the way to the fingers. Let those hands get involved. When I lift the chest, I spread my fingers wide. And then when I round the back, I bring the backs of the hands to touch and the fingers together. This just gives us more motion, more parts of the body that we move. All right, and coming back to center, releasing the arms. We'll do a little side bending. Last time's move of the week. Let's bend to one side, reaching an arm down towards the ground, and come back to center. Reach over to the other side, side bend, and back to center. You're welcome to continue like that. Or if you'd like, you're gonna add an arm. So as one arm reaches down to side bend, like you're grabbing something at the ground, your other arm will reach towards the ceiling, and that will increase the stretch up into the rib cage, not just the waist. And then coming back, switching sides. One arm reaches down to grab something on the earth as the other arm reaches towards the ceiling. And back up. Let's add some breath. Inhale into the side bend. Exhale as you rise. Inhale into the side bend. Exhale as you rise. Keep going at your own pace. So don't worry about my speed or anybody else's. Move at a speed that feels good to your body. You can always go back to doing it without the arms, right? So if you don't feel stable, skip the arms, do the spine without the arms, or do the arms without the spine. Let's even ourselves out. So we've done the same right to left. And then coming to center, shake it off. All right, let's rotate our spine. We're going to twist and hold. So whichever direction you want to go, you're going to keep your knees facing forward. So watch that your pelvis doesn't move. Sometimes it helps to squeeze your knees together so that you can sense that they're not going to move, or put a pillow between your knees. So legs stay together, the pelvis and the legs don't move, and go ahead and twist your spine one direction. Once you're twisted, go ahead and pause and turn your head to keep your spine twisted. Turn your head and look at your knees. See that your knees are next to each other and that one knee hasn't shifted forward. If that's happened, then we're not getting the twist where we want it today. That gets it really far into the low back, and I want to get it a little bit higher, more middle back. So knees stay together as you rotate. Head can come back. And then come to center. So same idea, other side, knees stay together, maybe you squeeze them together, maybe you squeeze a pillow, maybe you imagine you're squeezing something between your legs, and twist your spine the other direction. Once you're twisted, just for a moment, turn and look at your knees, make sure your knees are actually still next to each other and one knee isn't ahead of the other. And then you can bring your head back after you've checked. And come back to center. Let's separate those feet if they've come together, and we'll go into some heel raises. So toes stay on the ground, you'll lift one heel up and bring it back down. So one heel lifts and drops, other heel lifts and drops. So just alternating here, heel lifts. Noticing how your heel likes to lift. So sometimes the heel sort of pops out to one side or drops in. Is it possible to really track that heel along the same line as your toes so it doesn't go out to this side? So I'm just showing what we're not doing is here with this foot, my heel's out to the side. I want it really directly centered. And if anything, erring towards putting a little more weight towards the big toe side of the feet. So a little bit more center. You're welcome to continue like this, or if you'd like, you're gonna add some marching. So we'll alternate actually lifting the foot completely off the ground and bringing it back down, but you can still move through that heel raise. So you can heel raise and then knee lift, heel raise and then knee lift. If that doesn't work for you, stick with just the heel raises. See if it is possible to keep your torso still as you move the leg. Keep your pelvis still as you lift your leg. So I'll go sideways for a moment. There's a difference between, I'll move my arms out of the way, lifting my leg and lifting my leg by moving my torso, or lifting my leg by moving my torso, right? So there's lifting just the leg, or there's moving the rest of the body to make it seem like I'm lifting the leg. So noticing that if there is any of that, in which case that's okay, you're noticing it. And then is it possible to lift the leg without moving the pelvis, without moving the rest of the body? Because we want to move those parts that haven't been moving. We do things habitually throughout the day, and that shapes our body in a lot of ways. And so we want to take the time here when we can to really move those spots and those parts that don't move as easily or as consciously. Let's even ourselves out, right to left, and letting that go. We'll take the feet nice and wide now. So you can either sit forward in your chair, or sometimes it feels better to sit further back in the chair. I alternate, I play around. Some days it feels good to be back, some days it feels good to be forward. Now we're going to turn those legs out. So instead of letting those knees knock in, we're really pressing those knees open. I have a pretty good hip flexibility, so my legs are pretty wide. If that doesn't feel good, make it more narrow, right? So listen to your body, don't force it into a position that feels bad. From there, go ahead and lean forward and let your shoulders creep up towards your ears. Leaning forward, shoulders creep up towards the ears. And then you'll let one shoulder drop forward and let yourself rotate. Twisting. So you might feel stretch here in the shoulders and in the spine. Your hips might also still feel it. Come back to center and switch sides. Other shoulder drops forward, rotate. And back to center. Go ahead and lift your torso up and we're gonna move into a deeper side bend. So side bending to the right, we'll bring the right hand to the right knee or thigh and start to lean to the right. You could stay there. You could bring your right forearm to your armrest if you have one, or right forearm to your thigh. So 3 options for the arms. Keeping your sits bones grounded. So watch that this left hip isn't lifting up, that it's really pushing down into your chair. And then your free arm can really go anywhere. It can rest by your side, it can reach out to the side, can go up towards the ceiling, or reach all the way overhead for a side stretch. Watch that once you're in your side stretch or whatever position with your arm, that left leg doesn't get lazy, doesn't get tired and just droops. Keep pressing that left knee open, keep both feet firmly planted, keep both sits bones firmly planted in your chair. 2 more breaths. And lift yourself all the way up. Pause for a moment. Notice how your body feels. And then we'll go to the other side. So side bending to the left hand on your knee, or you can bring your left forearm to an armrest or left forearm to your thigh. From there, watch that right hip doesn't lift. So you want to drop that right hip down so both cheeks are on the chair. Free arm can stay down, go out to the side, up towards the ceiling, or all the way overhead. As you do that, don't forget about your legs. Your legs should still be active, especially thinking about that right leg. Don't let the knee drop in. Press that right knee out. Firmly plant both feet into the earth. And lifting all the way up. Whew. Let's pull those legs back together, shake them off. And then we're gonna work the fronts of the thighs or our quad muscles. It's up to you where you sit. You can sort of play around with where you sit in your chair to give yourself the best sensation. Sometimes it's nice to be back, sometimes it's nice to be forward. Hips are grounded in your chair. We're going to straighten one leg and bring it down. And then the other leg. So first here, we're just doing a knee bend. We're straightening and bending the leg. I'm just gonna turn sideways so you can see. You can stay where you are. So my torso, again, is not moving. My pelvis is not moving. It's just a movement that's happening at the knee joint. And the muscles of our thigh, the front of the thigh, is allowing the leg to straighten. You can continue like this. If you'd like, you're gonna add a little lift. So you'll straighten the leg and then lift those toes up, maybe an inch, and then bring the leg down. Then you'll probably feel those thigh muscles even more. So we straighten the leg and then lift the toes up an inch and bring it down. I'm gonna show you again so that you can think about this. So we're straightening the leg, lifting the leg from the leg muscles, not from the spine, not from the pelvis. So you wanna make sure that your hips are pretty steady, your torso is steady. And when you lift the leg, it's really happening from those leg muscles and not somewhere else. And if it feels impossible, then that's okay. Just imagine that you're trying to lift it. And over time, the body will learn. We can't remodel the body in one day. We want to find lots of opportunities to move it in new ways. And to really get the benefit of the exercise, we want to be conscious and aware about how you're moving. Couple more. This is a great exercise for those of you who have a hard time with squats. Right, it allows you to do a knee bend and straighten without that much weight, right? Just gravity, not the weight of the body. And work those thigh muscles. Go ahead and even yourself out. So you've done the same right to left. Take a little break, maybe windshield wiper or sway those knees side to side. All right, we're gonna move back to our upper body and to our arms. So coming back to those nice soft shoulders, they're buoyant, they're not up towards the ears, they're not firmly planted downward, they're sort of halfway in between. And then let's do some shoulder rolls. So you're gonna move through those ranges of motion. You're gonna go up and then back, finding that nice spot, dropping it down and then forward. And I'm alternating, you can really do shoulder rolls however you want. We're just preparing for some more arm movement. And then allowing those shoulders to relax in that nice buoyant state. So we're trying to find that relaxed shoulders isn't up towards the ears, isn't dropped all the way down. It's somewhere in between, closer on the down than the up, but somewhere in between. That's where we want our shoulders to relax or to be home base. From there, let's bring those arms out to the side into a T position. Watch that already. When you bring your arms out to the side, did your spine move? Can you get your arms out to the side, directly out to the side without moving your spine? Now this is an arm and shoulder exercise, not a spine exercise. So, well, it's a spine exercise in the way that you're trying to not move your spine. Try not to move your spine, reach your arms back behind you. So there's a difference. So this is what I want to happen. Arms go back without moving the spine. There's a difference from what I just did, arms moving back versus chest coming forward, back bending to bring the arms behind me. Right, so it's not a back bend. We're not moving the spine to move the arms. We're moving the arms. We're going to play around with different heights. So right now we're at this T position. Let's go ahead and go a little lower. So kind of a wide, a really wide A position. Can you bring those arms back? Again, without moving the spine. And maybe the answer is no. So go as far as you can back without moving the spine. And you can always test yourself, go a little further and see, okay, am I moving my spine? Yes or no, notice. Go a little lower. Now maybe more of a normal A position. You can play with which direction your palms are facing. Might be easier if your palms face back. You might be able to move your arm further back versus your palms forward. So it's not about what's easiest, but it's about finding different ways that you can move your arms without moving your spine. So decoupling the arms to the spine. Start to slowly move your arms back up. I'm alternating between the backs of my hands facing back and the palms facing back, but you do whatever you'd like. Most important here is for you to learn or play with the position of the spine and how the spine does not need to move with the arms. And now we start to go higher. So from this T position, you can go a little bit higher. So now it gets hard to flip the palms back. But you can play and just keep gradually going higher and higher. And you may find a point, so I get really tight here, that it gets really hard to bring my arms behind me without moving the spine. And so that's when you stop. That's where you know, okay, that's my max. This is my max. I can't go any further back without moving my spine. And so I'll just show again for an example. There's a difference between my arms moving from here to here with my arms, right? So this is me using my arms versus from here to there by moving my spine. All right, my shoulders actually have not moved, or arms have not moved. I want you to move your arms. Your arms probably are starting to burn, mine are. So if yours aren't, I want to know your secret, or maybe think about if you're moving your spine or not. Couple more, go ahead and play around. Whew, and then release those arms, shake them off. Okay, let's give those arms a break. Hopefully you felt that, I felt that. And let's come to standing. We'll do a few standing poses and then come back to our seat. If you don't want to stand, you can stay seated. I'm moving behind my chair for just something to hold on to. If you can't get behind your chair, find a wall or a table, just something to hold on to for safety. We're gonna go into a warrior one variation. So the left foot will stay where it is, and we'll step that right foot back. You can step the foot back anywhere from 1 to 3 feet back. It depends on the length of your leg. So 1 to 3 feet back, and then we'll bend that front knee. So front knee is bent, back leg is straight. I'm on a really squeaky board. Here we go. Left knee is bent, right leg is straight. The back leg pushes the heel down to the ground. Your hips are facing forward. Arms can hover above the chair, hold the chair, or be up towards the ceiling. Again, watching those arms, that they're up towards the ceiling because you're moving your arms and not your spine. Smooth breath. So finding that breath again. Maybe lost it from all of those arm movements. In and out through the nose if possible. Hands come back to your chair if they're lifted. Straighten out the front leg. So now we have 2 straight legs. And I want you to hinge from the hips. So this is not so much spine movement, sort of the theme today. Not so much spine, more of the other joints. We're going to move from the hips. So you're rolling your pelvis over your thigh bone. And then your hands can be on your chair, or forearms can be on the chair. You could also take hands to your thigh. Trying to keep your back relatively flat. So there's very little motion here in the spine. And if anything, I want you to think about reaching your tailbone up towards the ceiling. So instead of allowing your tail to tuck under, which reduces the stretch in the back of the leg, you're going to think about, okay, is there any way for me to get that tail to be up towards the ceiling? And that might mean that you need to be higher up on your support, right? You don't need to be super low. Lift your torso up, bend your front knee, and step forward. Back foot meets the front, and we'll switch sides. So right foot stays put, left foot steps back, anywhere from 1 to 3 feet. We bend the front knee, the back leg is straight, the back heel is pushing into the ground. Hands can stay on your chair, can hover above the chair, or reach up towards the ceiling. Once you find your position, take several smooth breaths. Hands come back to your chair if they're lifted. Straighten out that front leg and hinge forward. Hands can stay on the chair, or forearms can find the chair, or hands can find your thigh. Again, we're thinking about that movement coming from the pelvis, moving over your leg bones, and not so much movement in the spine. So I don't want to see a big rounding in the back. That just tells me that your spine is flexible, but not necessarily that your hamstrings are flexible. We're thinking tailbone is reaching towards the ceiling. Breath is smooth, jaw is relaxed. Maybe noticing how this side feels compared to the first side. Lifting your torso up. Go ahead and bend your front knee and step forward. Back foot meets the front. We'll just do one more thing here in standing. Take a step away from your chair or from your wall, but keep holding on to it. So just like your arms distance from your support. Allow your feet to be about 4 inches apart. Toes are going to face straight forward. So all 10 toes face the same direction. We're going to bend those knees. Inhale, knees bend, hips go back. And exhale, straighten. We inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. You can keep your arms on your chair, or if you want to add arms, as you bend your knees, arms reach up. As you straighten your legs, arms lower. Inhale, bend, arms can reach up if you want. Exhale, straighten, arms can lower if you want, or keep holding on to your chair. Listen to your body a few more times, follow your breath. Don't worry about my speed, move at your pace. Let's do 1 or 2 more. And then when you're done, go ahead and take your time, make your way back to your chair. No rush. Once you're back in your chair, let's just take a few torso circles. Maybe you inhale for half the circle and exhale for the other half. Or maybe you inhale for a full circle and exhale for the next. Go ahead and switch directions if you haven't already. And make your way back to center. Let's inhale, circle those arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Exhale, palms touch, hands towards the heart. Inhale, arms circle out and up. Exhale, palms touch. As the hands come towards the heart, start to bow forward and then move your hands to your thighs. I'm going to go sideways just so you can see. You can stay here, or forearms are going to come to your thighs. So we're hinging forward. The back might round, but we're trying to also move that pelvis. You can also come all the way down to bring your hands towards your feet. Just make sure though, if you decide to come all the way down, that you can come up safely. So I'll show you all the options again. You can have your hands on your thighs leaning forward. You can have your forearms on your thighs leaning forward, or you can have your chest on your thighs and your hands on your feet. Whatever position you're in, make sure that you feel stable. If you feel stable and you don't think you're going to get dizzy from doing this, you're welcome to let your head and neck go. So dropping that head can feel really nice on the neck, but if you're worried about falling over, please don't do that. Couple more breaths. It can feel really relaxing to get that head at the same height as the heart or below it. So now to come up, I want you to think about firmly pushing the feet into the ground. Use your arms to help you. Hands push into the thighs to lift yourself up. Pause for a moment once you're up. And we'll find our final meditation position for 2 minutes. So if you'd like, you can sit back in your chair, stay forward, hands can rest wherever. Closing the eyes or softening your gaze towards the ground. Just taking a minute here to settle into your breath and settle into your body. Let's take a deep inhale together, fill the lungs. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. One more time, deep inhale. And let it out. Palms touch. Take a moment to thank yourself for taking time to take care of your mind and your body. Namaste. Thank you everybody for joining today. So wonderful to have you as always. We have time now if you have any questions, movement or yoga or our class related questions. If you have GoGo questions, best thing to do is to email GoGo directly because I usually don't have the answers for those.
Hugs and peace to everybody.
Thank you. Same to you. Also, this is a great time if you want to see everybody, go to the top right-hand corner, change the view to gallery, and then you can see lots of people's faces, and it's very nice.
We have a question.
Hiya.
I'm just curious, can you do something about the amount of echo in the room?
So this room, usually echo has not been an issue for this room, so I'm not sure. The one time I had to teach in my garage, the echo was really bad. I don't think there's much I can do because I have some mats on the ground absorbing. We have the couch. I'm not sure. I do have another mic I was gonna try, so I keep saying that. I will put it on my list to try a different mic as well, and we can play with that.
I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get onto YouTube to do these exercises and stuff on our own?
Mm-hmm. V will put it in the chat, but also on your invites, you at the bottom of the invites or somewhere on the invites, it should give you the YouTube channel. And then you can access it that way, but we'll see if it pops up in the chat here in a minute.
Okay, super duper. That'd be great.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. It's been
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Thanks for
wonderful.
being here again.
yeah.
Adra, this is Carol. It's nice to see so many more people have joined. You were up to 45 today, and I'm used to seeing 20 people.
Yeah, it's awesome. Spreading the word. Maybe people are telling their friends. Yeah, it's great.
And one more thing about the YouTube, if they cannot find that link, just go into YouTube and search for GoGoGrandparent Functional Fitness and GoGoGrandparent Chair Yoga. That's how I find them.
Thank you, Carol.
Oh, thank you, Carol. That's really helpful actually for people to know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm here if you have more questions. If you're ready to go, you can always pop off. So there's no need to stay unless you have questions or unless you want to hear if other people have questions.
See you next week, Adra.
Thanks, Carol. I'm seeing some waves. Yeah, great to see you all. And then the link is in the chat for the YouTube if you're searching for it. So next week will be functional fitness. That class is mostly our standing class, a little bit more intensity, but always moments to take breaks. And I give options. And if there's something you can't do, you can always think about what components can you do. So sometimes a movement has like 5 components. You could do probably one of them. Yeah, Bertha, did you have a question?
Did you give us a move for this week?
Oh my gosh. No, I didn't give a move for this week. I didn't think about it. Well, I think actually I do know what our move for the week has to be. Moving the arms without moving the spine. So thinking about how we can move our arms without moving the spine, and especially back behind us because we don't spend that much time back there. So that's what we'll make. And I know that was a move of the week really recently, but since we did so much of that today, that's what we'll do. Thanks, Bertha.
Welcome.
I better write it down.
Some of the people who've left are not in the know.
Well, good thing you're in the know, though. That way you can remind us this time.
I'm not always sure if what my memory is doing.
I think it's
Today
pretty
it was
good.
right.
You're quite good. You're quite good. All right. Well, if no one else has any questions, comments, I will let you go. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you next time.